If you're a fan of Jacksonville drill, I know that by now you've seen the cinematic AK footage of Foolio shooting that got him smoked in Tampa, Florida. I never thought for a second that we would get the crash out version of Zero Dark 30 caught on a Tesla camera before GTA 6, but it seems like that's exactly what went down. Obviously, it goes without saying that the men and one female responsible for planning this, despite their best efforts, literally got caught not even a month later. They really had no chance. These police officers had time to get a special effects cameraman to film the arrest like a Power episode. It looking like a Michael Bay movie, no cap. From drenched police officers making a dramatic thunderstorm raid on two of the main accomplices, Gutta Zay and Set Up Shorty, to an intense standoff where one of the assailants had the nerve to threaten to blow his brains out if he was apprehended. The drama in the case that got Jacksonville's top op Foolio murked is too much for TV. While many in mainstream media have been quick to chalk this up as a result of Foolio's ongoing beef with ATK and call it a day, it seems that the real motive is actually a lot more personal. You see, as pictures of the alleged shooters made its way across the internet, many recognized the two crash dummies Rashad Murphy and Davion Murphy for being related to another shooting victim which went super viral years ago in the Jacksonville area, the death at a Reigns high school football game.
Lee versus Reigns. Just after that game, a shooting outside of the football field. It rattled what was supposed to be a really fun night, leaving one dead and two injured.
Where a young man was brutally gunned down in front of the whole school, had many people pointing fingers at a 6 Block member and Foolio's brother Bibby as being the shooter behind it. While many thought that Foolio's untimely demise was the work of Young and Ace and ATK, there was another war behind the scenes within East Jacksonville clique that really pressed the issue and stepped on the biggest stepper. A war filled with crowded area shootings, grade A USDA crash outs, somebody even peeing on someone's grave.
Someone's recorded urinating on her son's grave.
Man, I've never seen a beef on this level of disrespect ever. Man, today we gotta get into the 6 Block vs 1200 and the secret war in Jacksonville that resulted in the Murphy brothers getting the ultimate get back right now. But before we do, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe, man. You already know we on the road to 100K subs. Make sure you hit that link in the description at StaySafeWorld.com. Hit ups from merch, man. We gonna tap in right now with chapter 1. The get back is real. Foolio might have been the most hated rapper I've ever seen. I mean, he talks about his ops clicking up in all of his music, but I never would have guessed it would have taken like 5 people from damn near 3 different cliques with 1 female, 1 videographer, FaZe Clan stan, to 2 henchmen to take this man out. Many chalked it up to Foolio lacking, but if what the police say is true, it was a super calculated plot carried out that night at the Home 2 Suites, with 2 of the supposed shooters having ties to a reputable hood in Jacksonville called 1200. To even understand how things got to this point, we gotta explain the background of these gangs and almost go back around 10 years to the start of this and explain how people from this side of town could even have a problem with a dude like Foolio that's not even from this area. While many might consider 1200 a gang, it's actually a neighborhood with several different cliques in it. 1200 is as recognizable as being from the east side of Jacksonville, with most notably the cliques being Cuckoo, aka KKG, Spazz for Corbin, Cut Circle, Shug Nation. These clips have some of the most influential Jacksonville rappers coming from them, like KKG members Spinner Benz and Wappa with a Chopper and J. Breezy. They also have a close relationship with Westside groups ATK, aka Aim to Kill, which is Young and Ace label, and NHG, No Hospital Gang, which is where one of the accomplices, Gutta Zay, is apparently from, but also where rappers Queso, Fallout Sosa, and all of them are from. The shooters that took Foolio out from 1200 being from the Shug Nation clique. On the other hand, we have Foolio from 6 Block, who's actually from the north side of Jacksonville on 45th Street. He has close ties with a clique called Bully Gang. They have an extensive negative history with many groups within the area, the 1200 area, dating all the way back to 2015. It's crazy how the simplest of disagreements almost a decade ago could result in someone famous throughout this country this year end up getting gunned down. But when I break things down in this next chapter, you'll see that this is almost inevitable. We gotta get into what happened in chapter 2, the root cause of things. Like many beefs in the rap world, back in the day, many of these groups actually coexisted in the area. But as time went on, people got older, disagreements turned to fights, fights turned to murders, and shootings turned into dissing. It led everyone down an irreversible dark path that might just take everyone down in total. Apparently, every single one of the shootings between 1200 and 6 Block can be traced back to 2015, a Kodak Black concert where members of 1200 and members of Foolio's clique 6 Blocks got into it. This resulted in a huge brawl and the teams getting kicked out of the spot. Little did they know this fight fight would start a wave of new gang violence throughout the city. In the following days, 6 Block would apparently score, killing someone from 1200 named Shug. This is where the clique Shug World would get its name from. It's crazy because this shooting in 2015 could be directly traced as a get-back motive for the Foolio shooting. But how we got to this point is even crazier than you can even believe, because it didn't stop there. Apparently shortly after this shooting, 1200 members wop up with the chopper would send the opposite location to pull up, resulting in 2 6 Block members shooting up his area and accidentally killing a toddler named Aiden McClendon. Pretty much this solidified damn near every group in 1200 having an issue with 6 Block and all their associates clicking up with each other. But the years that would follow would only make things worse, with the murder apparently caused by one of Foolio's closest associates that could even be seen as the reason why the 2 Murphy brothers wanted to get back on Foolio in the first place, bruh. Which leads us to chapter 3, the murder of Jared Adams.
Football field. It rattled what was supposed to be a really fun night, leaving 1 dead and 2 injured. And in the last couple of hours, Dr. Diana Green, the superintendent of Duval Schools, said that they may need a new approach to safety for its students. 57 security guards, including 30 sworn-in officers, were at the game. 4,000 people attended the game, and we're told officers had checked everyone who entered the gates with a metal detector.
As time went on, the score would go up with both sides committing straight atrocities, raising the murder rate in their communities. Respectively, the only winners of this beef is Jacksonville Sheriff's Department. There have probably been over 20 murders in this situation, so there could be any reason in the world why someone would want to take out Foolio. But to me, it seems pretty obvious that the 2 apparent gunmen in this case most likely did the shooting as an act of revenge for another shooting that happened just 3 years after the start of the 1200 vs 6 Block beef. The night of August 24, 2018 was like many others in the late summer in Florida. Football teams and high schools were starting to ramp up, which gave alleged 1200 member Spazz, aka Jared Jamal Adams, and Will a reason to go out and look for their ops in their hood. Unfortunately for them, it was more trouble than they could have found when they ran into 2 of Foolio's right-hand men, Bibby and Kenny Cap. Fast forward to today, coincidentally, Kenny Cap would be there with Foolio the night that he was killed, subsequently arrested the same day the incident happened. But witnesses back then described Bibby fighting Spazz and Will until shots went off. A police statement from that night reads, Jared Jamal Adams, 19, was found dead at the scene with 2 teenagers, a 16-year-old girl who attends Lee High School and a 17-year-old boy who attends Rains High School, were wounded but expected to survive. Homicide detectives said 2 teenage boys have known ties to criminal street gang members and attended the game together. Police said the 2 teenage boys were direct targets in the shooting, and the teenage girl appeared to have been hit by a stray bullet that was not meant for her. A triple shooting occurred at about 10 p.m. At about 15 minutes after the game between the Vikings and Lee High School Generals ended at the school of Moncrief Road West in Northwest Jacksonville. Police department director said the shots were fired near a sidewalk close to where officers had checked everyone entering the gates into the stadium with a metal detector. He said because there were more than 50 police officers at the game, there was an immediate response. The surviving teenage boy was found with a bullet wound in the upper body, and the 16-year-old girl was shot in her lower body. Their conditions were stable, but unfortunately, Jared Jamal Adams did not make it, and he is the brother of those 2 Murphy brothers. Many believe that Bibby was the one behind this shooting, but it seems like it could have been a self-defense scenario. Due to the fact that there was over 4,000 students at the game though, police were unable to find the shooter of this incident. Following this, Spazz's name has been frequently dissed throughout the 6 Block songs. On the other hand, another clique from 1200 would go on to honor his name by naming themselves in his honor. At the same time, others would go out of their way to diss him, like a crazy situation with Bully Gang member Wade apparently pulling up to his grave and literally pissing on it, bruh. While this incident made citywide news in the blatant manner it was executed, another crazy incident would go on to be a worldwide trend, with 1200 members being named in a demonic TikTok trend, which we'll get into right now, bruh. On a summer night of July 2018, Corbin Johnson would go missing shortly after a job interview in Jacksonville, Florida. For years, his case would be a mystery, with many people suspecting his friend's kidnapping or some type of foul play with the people who he was close with. Unfortunately, fast forward 4 years later, and a demonic trend on TikTok would arise, making fun of his disappearance.
18-year-old Jacksonville man becomes the center of a nationwide TikTok trend. Corbin Johnson disappeared in 2018. His remains were found a year later.
A rap song with details about his murder has been trending on TikTok for the past few weeks. News4Jax I-Team investigator Corley Peel spoke with Johnson's mother about the popularity of her son's case and how it's gaining.
Corbin Johnson's mother says she's surprised that his case has gotten so much attention lately.
Corbin got kidnapped, they found his bones.
And it started by none other than rapper Foolio. Bruh, I'm not gonna lie. When Foolio was alive at his peak, he might have been the most disrespectful rapper known to man. He started an entire TikTok trend dedicated to a teen named Corbin Johnson who went missing in the Jacksonville area. Remains were located deep in the woods in Jacksonville, Florida, with his disappearance and murder left unsolved. But now, this all leads us to a broader picture that the police have provided, given now that the suspects in the Foolio situation have been captured. The aftermath now is haunting, because when you look at the night that Foolio got hit up, with the arrest that the police have made, it gives a broader timeline to which everything happened. Foolio arrived in Tampa, Florida, and would post his location several times. The group of shooters and would-be murderers who ultimately went down for taking him out were people who have known him for decades, some of which might have even been within his inner circle. Many were quick to point fingers, putting this up as some type of contract hit, but it seems like it could have been absolutely free, because only one person out the entire group of 5 is actually on the run. Everyone else got apprehended within the city of Jacksonville. The lengths what they went through are very telling of how badly they wanted him gone. While the Murphy brothers would be identified as the brothers of fallen member Spazz, and the shooters, Isaiah Chance, aka Gutta Zay, would be identified as a middleman who was tasked with following Foolio around, scoping out his position and relaying it back to the other brothers. Gutta Zay is in a creepy foreshadowing on a clubhouse call with Foolio, taunting him, asking him what he got hit with in his previous shooting that almost blew off his foot.
How long you gotta wear your boot?
Like 4 bucks.
Damn. Hey, they know what you got hit with, Foolio?
I ain't gonna cap, cause you gotta think about it. I had a rods in my shit. They had to take that shit. That shit like January. That shit the hell up. Damn, they put the little boot on my shit.
Hey, gotta say, you know what you got hit with?
Nah.
Oh.
Sean Gaithright, an apparent part-time videographer, full-time shooter, and FaZe Clan stan, would be identified as another shooter. And Alicia Andrews, a female supposedly with Foolio at his birthday party, would be identified as another person who rode around with Gutta Zay getting information. It's honestly crazy, because it seems like every one of these Jacksonville shootings are not by chance. They all seem like they're all people that know each other. And when you look at their Instagrams and stuff, when they post disses, they'll be posting videos and pictures of them all being cool with each other. So it just shows how things can change and how things within the city are very personal. And it seems that a lot of people had suspected that this was some type of contract hit, but I'm not completely convinced, because why would these people still be in the city? They thought that they were going to get away with this or something, because they were still just posted up there and they had all the time in the world to get away. Only one of them made it out, but I wouldn't be surprised if they all end up snitching, because apparently Sean Gaithright was the first person that was arrested and gave up information. Several days later, everyone else got arrested. So at the end of the day, it's not really surprising that this went down, especially with Foolio and everything, but I feel like Foolio thought he had some type of sense of protecting himself by adding all these people to his group and having people around him for his birthday party. He even posted it was his best party yet when he documented the night, but obviously it wasn't good because they were able to track his location so easily, man. But hey, let me know in the comments what y'all think about this whole situation, this eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.